Yes, the market hasn't been that great recently, but interestingly enough, Solana, one of the largest cryptocurrencies, underperformed even most of those altcoins. Is this potentially a buying opportunity? Because some cryptocurrencies stay around, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and likely Solana as well, while others simply disappear. We want to buy good things at a cheap price. Have a look at the performance in the last 90 days. Solana, the 7th largest cryptocurrency in terms of market cap, performed the worst across all of those larger assets. And the reason why this might be an opportunity is because, at least in the last 2 years, Solana tended to trade in a range, and it's now at the lower end of that trading range. What we've got over here, that's the Solana dominance. How much of all of crypto is in SOL? This tends to trade between 3.7% and 2.2%. And currently we are at 2.4. So apparently, if we stay in that trading range, the potential risk versus reward does not look bad at all. What we've got over here, that's the Solana market cap relative to the Bitcoin market cap, because any cryptocurrency has to compete with Bitcoin. There's so much correlation within crypto, everything goes up and down at the same time. So if we take on more risk compared to simply just buying Bitcoin, we need to also get more performance long term. Now with Solana, we did get that additional performance long term. This chart starts in 2020, and Solana over all of those years has outperformed Bitcoin by close to 20,000%. But now we are trading in range. Solana did lose much more than BTC during the last bear market, when Terra Luna collapsed, when FTX collapsed, when Three Arrows Capital went belly up. But it also rallied much more after the adoption of Pump.Fun, of Memecoin trading. And it seems like recently we are seeing higher lows with a potential short-term bounce. Even Solana, just in plain US dollars, is a very similar structure. Because Solana is more volatile than BTC, the risk versus reward does not look bad at all. Solana tends to turn around somewhere between $170 and $300. At least that's what happened several times in the past. If we were to go back to say $260, there's more than a doubling from current prices. And so according to on-chain data, there's still activity on Solana. This is the decentralized exchange trading volume over time. It has of course spiked with Memecoin trading on Pump.Fun, but it's still at a higher level now than it used to be, say, 2 years ago. Here we've got the total value locked, how much capital is currently in Solana, this is in US dollars, and here's the same in SOL. Now, a lot of the assets that are traded on the Solana chain are to a degree also bound to the Solana price. So seeing this continued increase in TVL measured in Solana hints towards more usage of the chain over time. This here, this chart in US dollars, is more influenced by the Solana price itself. This here, however, is more of a reflection of how much the chain is used. The largest protocol on Solana is of course Pump. Pump's generated fees do fluctuate over time. They are at somewhat typical levels for the last 1.5 years or so. By the way, somewhere around here is also a subscribe button. It doesn't really do much, except it makes sure that you will not miss the next video. And this is the Pump price relative to the Solana price. It's also very close to its equilibrium ratio. It tends to trend in a range. Pump is not super cheap nor super expensive relative to Solana. But this video is about Solana, not about Pump. Still, there is a potential negative story here as well. If you don't just look at the trading range, but at a potential negative trend, there's the risk that Pump might underperform by close to 30% from here. The stablecoin market cap on Solana tends to continue to grow. The Solana market cap relative to all stablecoins that are currently floating, that's unfortunately declining though. So the stablecoin market is growing faster than the Solana market cap. And it also tends to peak at very similar levels. We are not incredibly cheap or expensive in the recent trend, but the trend is bearish, it's going down. Here is how I like to time the market. Using again moving averages. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I like to do back tests on moving averages on various assets. I've of course done the same for Solana. Currently we are slightly below the moving average, so we're rather bearish. We bet on falling prices whenever we are below. We bet on rising prices whenever we are above. And the best moving average historically for Solana, it has been the 58-day simple moving average. So I backtested all moving averages from the 2-day to the 200-day. 58 days historically was the best. So had you just sold whenever we are below that moving average, you would have gotten this performance here, shown as this line here in turquoise, compared to buying and holding. That's the line in white. If we also bet on falling prices, we get better performance, a roughly 10x delta compared to just buying and holding, right? This is a logarithmic chart over here. If we then include some optimized leverage, so that's 0.75 for the short positions and 2x for the long positions, then we get this performance here. So without leverage, it's this. With leverage, it's this. And so currently we should be slightly bearish. We are still below that moving average, which by the way, currently is at $133 roughly. Once we are above that threshold, it might make sense to get into Solana again with a 2x leverage. At least historically, that was the best approach. If you got some value out of this video, then feel free to give this a like. Feel free to also check out the premium membership. This is where you can co-invest on various strategies, including the Bitcoin moving average and the Ethereum moving average strategy. The Solana moving average strategy, unfortunately, has not yet been automated, but I'm working on that as well. A link to premium pops up here on the screen. See you over there, or see you next time in YouTube. Thanks for watching. Cheers.